Got my outdoor visibility one on. Go. Okay, this is what I'll give you a history of, my version as I saw it.
Well, as long as you're not duplicating yourself, because we've had this on this trip, we've had a pretty detailed conversation about fish farming.
Right, but not everybody gets to see the same video. They're not like they're labeled. It's like somebody right now say, "Oh, I want to hear about that."
Okay, let's tell it.
Okay,
Let's talk about it.
But the chili, okay, and everybody uses this scenario, and it came out like they go like, "Okay, fish farming's bad."
Well, who started fishing? You said they've been doing it since the 1700s.
Yeah, well, that's documented.
In the Orient?
No, the Germans. Maybe the Orient could have been doing it longer.
Well, they've been eating fish a little more.
Well, what's this?
This is Low Boy.
And we got a plow truck. Finally, plow truck. Cool. Okay, George's Gorge, right there. That was George's Gorge.
Gorgeous George.
Gorgeous George. And you got your natural ski runs down that baby. Of course, there's not enough of them, and it's too far from any place to.
Those are avalanches, actually.
Yeah, actually. So, and the chill. They. When I was, it must have been late 20s, early 30s. We had the International Seafood Conference and had friends, people from all over the world. And
how many of those did your folks
20
host?
20
of them?
Yeah.
International seafood conferences.
Yeah.
Held all over the world.
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
And it's all because of your parents' adventure into trout farming?
Yeah. Well, see what it keyed off of. This is how it keyed off. There's a National Fisheries Institute.
International or
National Fishery Institute.
United
NFI.
States, United States.
Right, exactly. And they'd have a conference every year. And my dad was the president at certain times of the National Fishery Institute. And they, being that they'd be on the board, whatever, etc. And just like any other institution. And then, as he got older, he said, "You know what? This same forum would be good at the international level." So he goes, and we said he basically started
it. You created the International Seafood Conference.
Exactly, and the key was that he said, "Okay, since we're doing this, we will never have one in the United States, because we would then be competing with the National Fishery Institute." So, with the mailing list from that, they sent out the mailers to everybody, and the first one was in Monte Carlo.
Wow. Did you get to go to that one?
Yep.
How old were you?
I think about 28.
Now, is Monte Carlo, where is that exactly?
That's in it's a
North
principality. No. That's Morocco.
Where's Monte Carlo?
We did one there too. Monte Carlo is in
France.
It's a principality off the coast of Nice, France. That area.
That's France, yeah.
Yeah, Prince Albert. He was there.
Prince Albert.
Yeah, that's the kid.
They made some good tobacco.
Oh, did they? I don't think it. They go. The one that married Grace Kelly. Rainier was his father. He didn't come.
Right?
Cousteau's son came.
Did you?
Oh, she didn't come. In fact, she may have been dead by there. I'm not sure. I think she was.
My sister was enamored with her. We're at 1,090 kilometers.
Oh, okay.
Okay, go ahead now. So Monte Carlo was the first International Seafood Conference.
Ringo Starr was there, but he wasn't at the conference, but he's there.
And your dad used the mailing list of the national one, but how did he get in contact with all the international people?
Well, a lot of them sent their own, they started doing brochures. They sent it all to those people, and then other people would they put some advertisements and different things. My father would do, after he sold the fish, there was something called the Gruber Seafood Letter, and he bought it, and it was the Gruber Erkin Seafood Letter, and then Bob Gruber got older, and then it just became the Erkin Seafood Letter. And this is pretty much before the internet, etc.
How many different segments of the marketplace did that conference attract? I mean, were there government people? Were there commercial fishermen?
Right.
Were there processors? Were there marketers?
All types.
Every aspect of the industry was represented.
Right.
Or at least invited to participate.
Right. And at the first one, there was a guy that had Alaska State Bank, Whitmore, I think his name was, and there was a bank locally that went under, and I think he went to prison for some reason.
Well,
Ralph Whitmore.
Well, yeah, but there was half the thrifts went down the tube in the 70s.
I know, but that's
what was it? 87, I think.
84, 83, whatever. Yeah, he was there. A guy named Bob Crow, Jim Crow.
But whatever.
Yeah, he was there from Bethel. There were some people from all over.
How many attended the very first conference, do you think? How many
I think probably 700.
Paid the fee.
700.
Paid the fee. Was there associate and regular members?
No, I think
Did
you
they
paid.
become members?
No, what happened was you could be. There was no membership. It was just you paid to
attend the conference.
Yeah, exactly. And then you paid if you wanted to. For instance, a lot of people bring their wives.
Right. Did your family help line up lodging and transportation and
all
that stuff?
I'm trying to think of I can't remember the name of the hotel, but we have
must have put out a pack, huh? They must have put out a convention pack.
Yeah.
Like a bag of good shit, just like they do.
Yeah. This is it. We'd hand that stuff out. You get a badge. You'd get
where the seminars are, the keynote speakers,
yeah.
The workshop.
We'd sign up, and that during the time they did some weird IRS stuff. They had to sign that one that showed.
You had to line up the keynote speakers to talk about
all the keynote speakers.
And everything.
That
would have been fun.
They had forums.
How old were you for the Monte Carlo one?
28.
Wow, you were already pretty old.
Yeah.
So you caught on to it. Did you out of all your dad's and ma's kids, were you the one most interested in this? Would you say?
No, Marla, my sister, and her husband worked with him on a daily basis. Yeah. And Marla learned German and met her husband, Jonathan, who's now
at a conference?
No. She got into more into the selling part of fish, and she worked for a company in Germany, which my dad knew, and learned German. And then they came back to Boston to another company, which my dad knew, and that's where she met, I think, Jonathan.
Okay, but back to these conferences.
I know she met Jonathan.
It was deemed that the very first conference was quite successful.
Oh yeah, probably the most, most people. Yeah.
You shared a lot of information.
Right.
And was the trout farm going then?
Oh yeah, the trout farm was still going, but my dad had.
Did he bring that to the table?
I don't think so. No. It was marketing. It was more like the groundfish forum. In fact, it was.
What's a groundfish?
The groundfish would be like things that pollock maybe.
Bottom fish.
Bottom fish, but they call them ground fish.
Because that's a better term than bottom.
Yeah.
Because bottom denotes eating shit.
Yeah.
Okay, so then there was some cash positive results of that first conference. Like, did your folks have any net money left over?
Oh, I think so. They did it for 20 years, so they must have gotten some out of it. I mean, it paid for a lot of things, I'm sure.
Remember where the second one was?
Second one was in Rome, I think.
Where was the one that had the most attendees, and how many?
I think it was the first one had the most attendees.
Really?
Because what happened was when the groundfish people, they wanted more of the program. So they actually broke off and took a group, and they had their own groundfish forum. The second one might have been in Paris. Might have been. I know that Mary went with me on one of them. Your sister. Oh. She didn't tell you?
Wow, you weren't supposed to disclose that.
Oh. That she went, or that we were sisters,
What's
Larry?
over there?
Big bull moose right over there.
A bull or a cow?
Boy, it's a good size, baby. It's a
Cow.
yeah, yes it is.
Could be antlers on it. Although I don't know.
I don't either, but I didn't see any. It looked like a cow. I'll put it that way. No, she went to the one in Vienna. So that must have been in '83 when we got married. Yeah, '83. Because she'll always say that's where she spent her honeymoon, in Vienna. In her talks that we did marriage encounter with, or engaged encounter, ironically. Can you imagine we were the engaged encounter people?
No wonder there's so many failed marriages.
Anyhow, no, I remember going to Rome, Paris, London.
You broke the rules though when you came to Alaska before.
Yeah, that was north. Well, they said 48 states. They said never would the NFI come to Alaska, so they came, and that was the last one, and was probably the smallest one, and they were dying out because, first off, the fishing industry got, like anything else, you start getting poorer and poorer. You start getting overtaxed. You start getting less fish. There's less money to do these kind of things.
Depleting the resource, but that was not supposed to be your mission. Your mission was supposed to see to it that the resource was sustainable.
Right, and
that you failed at that.
Right? No. That's where you're wrong.
Come on, Larry.
That's where the aquaculture came in. The aquaculture became. There's now more. But when we started this, aquaculture was like 3%.
I know, but the sustainable wild fish the wild fish.
That was never the intent. It was a marketing intention, a marketing conference to find out where the good fish were. And we would put it.
Are you telling me that one of the platforms of that whole operation was not to see to it that
they weren't biologists.
That the fisheries were supposed to stay sustainable? Are you kidding me?
Oh, yeah, well, they would report, but they're not biologists. They would say, our indications are we will have this much next year. Our indications are we will have less next year.
Didn't you give advice to the regulatory bodies on how to limit the take?
They do that year round. The conference was like a report of what was going on.
All these nightmare deals here.
I don't know.
Why are there bags?
I don't know. Because it was a construction area and now it's not. That wasn't the object. The object was to say, okay, that's our big old washout right there, coming down from these hills. That was never.
They have some culverts, I'll tell you.
Yeah. Oh, I bet you. Oh, yeah.
Back there, I bet you they have some 3-4 meter diameter culverts.
Yeah. You mean 12 footers?
Oh, easy.
12 footers.
3 or 4 of them, I bet, to drain that water.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it doesn't wash out the road.
Yeah. So I guess they're doing some and that's what you got to watch around. Even though, yeah. So there are areas, and I don't know exactly. So this might be one of them. Caution: loose gravel.
You're kind of working.
Reduce speed.
Yeah, I have.
No, so they no, that was not the intention.
Well, why not? You think it would have been? You think it would have been?
Oh, this is they're trying. Oh, the bridge is out, and they're putting in a new bridge.
Yeah, but you'd think it would have been.
Well, they would, of course.
Major plank of the platform to help the regulatory people manage it.
No, the regulatory people are biologists.
I'm just saying, you guys had all kinds of knowledge that they could have used to help keep it sustainable.
They didn't want aquaculture knowledge.
I'm not talking about, is that all this was?
No. It's all fishing all over. These people are marketers of fish. They're processors of fish. They were boat owners.
If it all goes away.
What's that?
You got nothing to market.
Right, but they can't control it.
And it all goes away.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. That the fish
given advice so to help manage it.
How?
Because they had inside information that
on what
some of the regulatory people didn't have.
Believe me.
How much fish was being harvested, maybe?
Okay, do gold diggers tell each other how much gold they're getting? Where the bright vein is? Hey, go over and claim this area. Same with fishermen. And then you got your processors who work with the fishermen. And then, it's all segregated. And then the only way that the biologists know what the catch is by the processor's report or the fishing report. But usually all the fish are weighed at the scale, or you would not know anything at all.
You can't get sucked into that heavy snow on the right.
No, so that's why you need to, when these guys go by, he's as slow as you can.
Not slow.
Well,
not slow. Slow will get you in trouble.
Okay, all right. So there was a marketing group. It was NFI is a marketing group, the National Fisheries Institute. They don't tell the government they all want more fish. That's the goal.
Not so many that it ruins the whole industry. That's not right.
Why not?
Why not ruin the whole industry?
There's processing costs. You're going to make that. See, the problem is when you say ruin the whole industry, those guys catch
wild industry at least. Ruin the whole wild industry. Wild and farmed are two different things.
The wild industry ruins itself.
Yeah, by overfishing.
Exactly. And
so
then
you were supposed to try to prevent that.
No. We're not supposed to. The biologists are supposed to do that. Now,
government employees?
Yes.
What about the universities?
Those guys too. But see, they get in there and they get their political thinking in there. And like Alaska, you won't find an aquaculture. But let's go back to where it's Monte Carlo time. It was 78. There's probably 2-3% of the world's fisheries were aquaculture. Okay? When nowadays it's over 50%. Two reasons: less wild, and the aquaculturists are
figuring it out.
Yeah, and getting better and better at it. See, the people, what I don't like about the Alaskan people is that they think man can't improve on nature. And I'm saying man is part of nature and will improve it because that's what he has to do.
Where'd all the caribou go?
What's that?
Where'd all the caribou go?
Oh, I don't know.
Are they up here yet?
Actually, the caribou, like I told you, were at Watson Lake, so
they went back off of it.
Yeah, they went, somewhere. Maybe because it was not as cold, number one. I don't know if that has anything to do with it.
Well, anyhow, so Monte Carlo set the pace for improving and expanding the aquaculture business.
No, they were a marketing group. If the aquaculture, for instance, lobsters, there was a guy named Luddy who was there, and he controlled all the South African lobster industry. All the lobsters from South Africa.
Huh?
One guy. Pretty much.
Wow. Was he a thug?
No. But he had real thick glasses. He looked like Aristotle. He looked like Aristotle Onassis.
Yeah, he was a very successful businessman.
Right.
And he garnered the industry.
Yeah, and he wasn't.
Like
I don't think he was.
London garnered the pollock industry.
I guess.
With the help of Ted Stevens.
Yeah, okay, like Trident Seafoods guy would be there.
Chuck
Yeah, exactly. He was at the conferences. Those type of Bob, I want to say his name was Peterson, but I don't know, one of them. But those guys, those would be the type of people. Now, still the Alaskan biologists controlled what you fished, but he would make sure that, you know, a lot of the fisheries, people don't realize it, was frozen. And here's at that time. And so you would have people,
canned and frozen.
Canned and frozen.
Yeah, canned and frozen or canned.
Right, and these guys would go there because they would say, okay, I got a bunch of king crab legs in my freezer. They're 8 months old. I paid this much, I got this much holding cost into them. Am I going to take a bath on holding them if there's going to be another boom of fish coming in, my price up? And if that's true, I kind of want to know that.
Right.
So I'm going to be selling them a little quicker or price or whatever.
Right.
That's the part of the marketing. With the advent of aquaculture, fish are fresh. Like that tilapia last night. Frozen, rotten, stinking, bad fish. I mean, it was okay, but it was, they had to cover it with sauce.
They wrecked it.
Yeah, they had to cover that with sauce. That could have been a year-old fish that I ate, you know? They still decompose.
Freezer burn.
Well, that's just the oxygen going away. Those, you know, when you go and you knock out these bugs or the salmonella, that this fish is still deteriorating. You know, freezer burn is kind of like taking out the moisture off the fish. Yeah,
terrible.
The fish was frozen, but I could tell it was old. Fresh fish is your best fish, and that's
flash frozen fresh fish.
Fresh fish is your best fish.
Right.
Period.
Right.
And when you and so canned fish are good. Frozen fish done well are good, but fresh fish is the best fish, no matter what. And that's everybody. Like we have what, 1,000, few thousand, maybe 20,000 people in the Alaska industry. For the most part, other than when they're first caught, and that's why those fish get the higher, like the Copper River Reds.
Well, if it wasn't for Fred Smith and FedEx and those guys, the expansion of the fresh fish retail or wholesale business wouldn't even be there if it wasn't for airplanes.
Well, okay, then you can talk to the Wright brothers about that, because I mean it's all a progressive thing. That's part of the human.
But that's what helped.
Yeah.
That's what helped the fresh fish industry grow, is better transportation and better refrigeration.
For Alaska fresh, Alaska fresh fish. We always sold fresh fish when we were in the fish hatchery. I'm going to cut this one down, see if I can do it a little better here. Hold on.